Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. The time is now 7:02 p.m., and we will be starting the regularly scheduled meeting shortly. But first, we do have a public hearing on Ordinance 1211 that will begin first. Ordinance 1211 concerning amending Chapter 61 elections, an ordinance by the Mayor and City Council of Havre, Grace, Maryland, adopted pursuant to the authority of Article 11E of the Maryland Constitution, the local government article of the annotated Code of Maryland, and Sections 33 and 34 of the Havre Grace City Charter to amend Chapter 61 elections. And normally what I'll do is if I have a pre-filled out form ahead of time, I'll call on those citizens first, and then I'll just open up the floor at large. I do have a pre-filled out form, and I'd like to call forward Ms. Stephanie Taylor from the Harford County Board of Elections. Good evening, Ms. Taylor. Welcome to the meeting. May you please have your name and address you represent for the record, please.
Good evening. Stephanie Taylor, Director of Harford County Board of Elections, 133 Industry Lane, Forest Hill, Maryland, 21050.
Welcome.
Thank you. Okay, the only thing according to Maryland election law 3-403F1 that the Harford County Board of Elections is required to do for municipal elections is to provide at no cost a paper precinct register. In 2025, we were told by the new state administrator that he was going to enforce this law. This law is not a new law. However, the BOE has always fully supported our municipalities whenever we can. With the passing of House Bill 322, which states that SBE may enter into a MOU with municipalities to lease equipment for the election equipment, we are told to charge the municipalities for supplies, extra equipment, voting booths, and our labor costs, my office supplies. I choose not to do that. I think it is our civic duty to support our municipalities. I challenge you to find another city/county in Maryland that helps municipalities to the extent that my office does without a charge for our services. Maryland election law and code dictate my job, and law supersedes code and charter. You cannot bind my office to assist to take care of parts of your election. With that being said, I respectfully ask that you amend your ordinance in the following ways. Section 61.7, the voting method, it states in there that initially the mayor and city council from time to time would determine the voting method, but was added in there was the city's Board of Election Supervisors in consultation with the Harford County Board of Elections. I ask that you remove in consultation with Board of Elections. Section 61.11, canvass of ballots. It says pending the review of Board of Election Supervisors and or Harford County Board of Elections. I ask that you remove the Harford County Board of Elections. It is not our responsibility to canvass the ballots. We assist you when we can. Unfortunately, with you having an election every year, in the even years, it generally corresponds or interferes with our statewide or federal election. There are some years that we cannot help you. I will close by saying I was upset that no one from this city gave me the courtesy of a phone call stating that they were adding our office into your charter. Thank you. Oh, by the way, I found out by accident. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're still under ordinance, public hearing for ordinance 1211, amending Chapter 61 elections. Anyone else in the audience here to speak on that ordinance? Any comments from the council? Okay, thank you very much. We're going to go ahead and move into our regularly scheduled council meeting. Good evening. The time is now 7:06 p.m. I will call the order of the Havre Grace Mayor City Council. Council President.
Here.
Councilmember Boyer.
Here.
Councilmember Schneegis.
Here.
Councilmember Boker.
Here.
Councilmember Jones.
Present.
Councilmember Ellis.
Present.
Okay, we have 4 heres and 2 presents.
Is that a quorum?
Yes, it is. Everybody, please join me for Pledge of Allegiance and the opening prayer. I pledge allegiance
the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If I could kindly ask everyone to remain standing, it's going to give me a great pleasure this evening to welcome Reverend Bishop of St. James AME Church of Gravel Hill. Sir, we really appreciate being here this evening. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Oh my God, our Heavenly Father, we thank you for your many blessings you have showered upon us. Even when things seem gloom, you hold us all together. Lord, we thank you for the community of Havre, Grace, Maryland. Lord, you have some generous people. And Lord, we ask that you continue to bless them, continue to strengthen them, continue to guide them, along with the city council members, so that we may be able to stay together as a community. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. Sir, thank you very much. Thank you. Please be seated. Item 5, approval of the minutes, City Council meeting minutes, October 20th, 2025. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Councilmember Booker, second by Councilmember Jones. Questions or comments on the council meeting minutes? All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. City Council meeting minutes of October 20th, 2025 are approved 6-0 in the affirmative. We will now go to item 6, comments from citizens. This is the part of tonight's meeting. If you are here to speak on an agenda item, now's the time to do so. Also, if you're here to speak on any other matter of city business, now's the time to do so. What I will do is I will call on anyone who pre-filled out forms ahead of time. And once I call on those citizens, then I will open up the floor at large. All you got to do is raise your hand and be recognized. So I will start off with Miss Diane Williams. Good evening, Ms. Williams. Welcome to the council meeting. May you please have your name and address for the record.
Good evening. I'm Diane Williams. My address is 565 Lewis Street here in Havre de Grace.
Welcome.
Thank you. I just have a few comments to make tonight to the mayor, to our city council chairperson, to all the council members, to the city department heads, to those who are here in the audience, and those who are viewing from home. I'm here to speak in relation to agenda item number 10, the presentation that will be made shortly by Mr. Clark Turner, our fellow Havre de Grace citizen. He and fellow citizen Bob Ward of Trademark Homes hope to develop 501 South Union Avenue, the former Harford Memorial Hospital site. My husband and I live in the 500 block of Lewis Street. We are 1 block away from that hospital. We can see the parking lot and the front of the hospital from our kitchen window. We are here today very much to support the preliminary plans that Mr. Turner had presented to the Economic Development Advisory Board meeting last month. Although we weren't present there, members of our community were, and they came back and shared some of the things that were said that I'm sure we're going to hear in a few minutes. I want to not only to support the plans that we are currently aware of, but I also want to thank Mr. Turner, Mr. Ward, for coming to the community, for coming to the EDAB meeting, for coming here to the City Council, and allowing the community to know what the plans are long in advance of any demolition and groundbreaking for the future. It's just so nice to be aware of what might be happening in our community. So I want to make sure that he and his team are very much aware of how much we appreciate this information ahead of time. I want to strongly support the idea of the single-family homes that he will explain are planned for South Union Avenue. It really does keep in character with this street, and we really like that idea very much. Secondly, we're very, very supportive of the concept of building one-level homes behind the homes that are going to be present on South Union Avenue. Those single-level homes, my understanding is, are intended for people who would like to stay in Havre de Grace and age in place. When my husband and I built our house, we intentionally built it on one level. So we don't have stairs except to get inside the house, but we don't have stairs that we have to contend with should anything happen in the future. So we really think this is a wonderful idea. And we hope that it's just the beginning of other opportunities for continuing care communities for people as they get older and other forms of aging in place. And finally, the last request I have is that Mr. Turner and Mr. Ward continue to communicate with the community, particularly our neighborhood, at every stage of the demolition and development, so that we can be aware of what the risks are, street closures, things that might be happening that will impact our daily lives in particular, as we hope that this project gets to move forward. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. I'd like to call forward Ms. Jean Johnson. Welcome, Ms. Johnson, to the council meeting.
Johnson, 666 Chesapeake Drive. I'm here this evening to speak on my own behalf, not as the chair of the Historic Preservation Commission, about the Elizabeth Rogers House on Washington Street in the heart of the Havre de Grace National Register Historic District, and what I perceive to be the need for design guidelines in our city and how they might help support what I call preservation light. I know that many people share my dismay about the changes made to the facade of the Rogers House, and I would argue, as many people would, that it is our most important historic structure in our beautiful city. I want to comment specifically about what I perceive to be the unfortunate painting of its original Flemish bond brick facade in white and its woodwork, the lentils and the wood trim, in black. As I said, I chair the, I already said that. The matter brings me personally to what I think is kind of a teachable moment, and that is to talk about what we can and cannot do legally currently in Havre de Grace to protect and preserve historic sites here. Let's be plain, we really have no protections to preserve the integrity of historic properties in Havre de Grace. People think we do, they tell me all the time we do, but we do not. The designation of our historic core, which involves about 800 different structures, believe it or not, contributing to the NRHD, was done by the National Park Service in 1982, and it was a good thing, but it is only a designation. An NPS designation does put us on the map. It qualifies businesses and homeowners for historic tax credits and technical assistance from the Maryland Historical Trust, and requires, under the National Historic Preservation Act, a bit of a mouthful, from 1966, Section 106, review for archaeological and historic assets possibly affected by any federal funding projects, including our Amtrak replacement bridge. So how could we have avoided the situation at Rogers House? Well, for one thing, the Historic Preservation Commission knew nothing about it. So there would have been perhaps an opportunity for us to say, hey, here's some ideas on historically appropriate paint. One way, of course, is what I'm talking about, is for the city to adopt design guidelines, as the commission has been advocating for several years. Design guidelines are simply recommendations about materials, facade composition, pedestrian experience, mass and scale and rhythm. And I got a lot more to say, but I guess I can't. But anyway, we would hope, and I know I just spoke with Bill a bit earlier, that we will take seriously the whole design guidelines idea. The county has promulgated some design guidelines 3 years ago, and we'd like to model a similar thing here in Havre de Grace. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson, and thank you for taking time to meet with us earlier. Thank you.
I just, I want to point out that, that apparently the dismay is about the painting it white. Is that the issue? Because, I mean, I've seen pictures before where it was white for 2 decades. And I'm just trying to understand, like, the argument online and everything else, and how far back historically do we go? I don't know. I mean, mhm.
But in fact, that is the most. That's not shared by other people.
I understand.
I think harking back to the colonial is entirely appropriate.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, thank you. That is all the pre-filled out forms I have, so we're going to open up the floor at large. This is for agenda items or any matter of city businesses. Please raise your hand to be recognized. Yes, sir. Good evening. Welcome to the city council meeting. May you please have your name and address for the record.
Herbert Truslow on Strawberry Lane. I came here about, I think a month ago. I was wondering, who can I go to get a stop sign put on George Street? Because where my girlfriend lives, you got a crosswalk, and it's a one-way street, and you got people speeding there and nearly hitting almost little kids and everything. Who do I go to get a stop sign? Do I go to you guys? Do I go to the council, Harper County? Who do I go to get a stop sign? Do I have to buy a stop sign and put it out there? Because I almost got hit. My girlfriend almost got hit, and a couple kids going to school almost got hit. I don't know who else I can.
Have you called City Hall?
What's that gonna do?
Well, we probably would have directed you to either the police chief or the director of DPW to
That's
begin
why I
with.
came in and I said, who is in charge of that? But since nobody don't want to, every time I speak, I just get, we call it looks like, who's this guy? And I know I did make a couple comments on the Washington Street thing, and I'm taking back some of my comments on there, but it's my opinion, but I don't like the way, I ain't mention people's names, but I don't appreciate the comment I got back, and I know I appreciate Mr. Booker for helping me out, and at the next meeting, you will get your thing back, and right here, I'm saying, I'm not affiliated with nobody, and if I have to, I'll get some money up, and I'll put my name into one of you guys' seats, and I'll take your guys' seat from you guys. Every time I come up here, I always get dirty looks and everything.
Thank you very much. The floor is still open. If anybody wants to raise your hand, be recognized. Any comments from council members? Okay, we'll continue with the agenda. Okay, item 7 this evening is appointments. I took care of it, so I'm gonna leave it up.
Mr. Mayor, if we may, the appointments for item number 7, I'd like to do that as consent calendar, if council doesn't object.
Council, I have a request by the council president to treat item 7 as a consent calendar. I believe they're all reappointments. Is there any objections from the council members? No? Okay.
Objection.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
A motion by Councilmember Booker, seconded by Councilmember Schnagus.
Yes.
Any questions or comments? Yes.
I just want to first say that everybody who we are reappointing is wonderful, and they have given of their time and time again for the city, and I'm extremely appreciative of it. I especially want to point out that Carolyn Zinner, who is a member of City Council here with us, she is up for reappointment for the Cultural Exchange Commission. She has been a wonderful resource to the commission, and we look forward to having her serve another term. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Boyer. Any other questions or comments? Okay. We have a motion by Councilmember Boger, and that motion seconded by Councilmember Shenanigans. This is, I'll go and read the names just into the record. We have a motion to appoint Ms. Carolyn Zinner to the Trolley Exchange Commission. Mr. Robert Baselli is a reappointment to the Marina Commission. John Avell, reappointment to the Marina Commission. Kathy King, reappointment to Tourism Advisory Board, and Jim Nemeth, reappointment to Tourism Advisory Board. I repeat, these are all reappointments. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. Motion for the reappointments carries 6-0 in the affirmative. Thank you very much, council. Item 8, recognitions. This evening we have no recognitions. Item 9, proclamations. This evening we have no proclamations, which takes us to item 10, presentations, and we do have a presentation of a redevelopment of 501 South Union Avenue. Call for Mr. Clark Turner. Good evening, Mr. Turner. Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Clark Turner, 508 Commerce Street. I'm here representing Trademark Homes, that's 200 Man o' War Place in Havre de Grace. I have some slides here, if I can work it. Whoops, maybe not. So we have been selected by the University of Maryland Medical System to be the purchasers of the Hartford Memorial property. And I'd like to go through tonight a little bit of how we arrived at the uses that we wanted to do and what our plans are for that. So first, I want to go to a slide that you see that shows the existing building. What I really want to point out with this picture is if you look around the surrounding building, it is mostly single-family homes that you see. And if you look at Google Earth map, and you look at the dot in the center of the historic town, the hospital is really the heart. That property is the heart of the town. So it's very important that we're sensitive to that and do something that is really good for the town. My engineer prepared a plat that shows highlighted in orange all the parcels that the hospital has accumulated over the years of their history there that we'll be purchasing. It is made up of 7 different buildings. The first building being built in 1943. The youngest of the buildings was built in 72. So what that's saying is the oldest part of the hospital is 80-some years old. The youngest part of the hospital is 50-some years old. It's a combination of buildings that have been interlocked together. I point this out because that makes it very difficult to repurpose or redevelop the existing structure, and in all likelihood would cost way more than building something new. So before we talk about what we're going to do with the property, I think it's important that we do something to memorialize nearly 100 years of this hospital being in our town and to keep the history alive. Our proposal is to take the area from Revolution Street down Union Avenue towards the parking garage and build a park, Hartford Memorial Park, and have in that a bronze statue perhaps of a nurse or a doctor, benches and gardens, but more importantly, placards that memorialize the entire history since it was the one building on the opposite corner in a house till what it is today, so that so many people in this town were born there, so we aren't erasing that history. It will all be memorialized on this corner. So when we take that out, and you can also see the placards that we have here that people could see of the history walking all around there. So if we take out that part and we look at what we have left, this is the area, what we can do with it. The area in the star is where the hospital is. It's in an area zoned RO. RO will allow us to do retail, to do office, or to do residential. Our analysis was that why in the world would anyone want to do retail here and compete with all the wonderful things we're doing to Main Street downtown? Secondly, the only demand probably for office would be people to be around the hospital. If the hospital's gone, we don't see the office demand. In addition to that, since the pandemic, so many people are working at home. office space has suffered and not been as predominant as in the past. So that leaves residential. And I know people had talked before about doing multi-story apartments and condos, and I was at some of those hearings and saw the feedback from the community against that. So we have said, let's go back to what this was, single-family developments. And if you look up in the corner where the park is, we are restoring Lodge Alley that was built over by the hospital, doing single-family homes, rear alley garages on the property. And if you look at this in perspective, you will see in the housing, this is kind of the same scale and height of all the residential buildings around it. So it is fitting in with what we have in the town here. And we would like to mimic the architecture of Washington Street and Union Avenue across the property. And the area that we have had the most positive feedback about in talking about this is we talked about doing a segment of this for senior housing, restricted for seniors, designed for seniors. No steps coming into the first floor, no steps going in from the garage, no steps going in for the shower, wider doorways, wider hallways, very adaptable for people to age in place, but not anything institutional in feel. Still very residential, but it allows people to age in place. During the pandemic, there was an outcry where people did not want to go to assisted livings, but wanted to stay in their home as long as they could. There was also a study that said 90% of those people who want to stay in their existing house can't because of steps, narrow doorways, or hallways. So this is an attempt to do something that is very keeping in character with the town, cute little cottages where they fit in, where people could stay here. And there's a lot of people, if you look at Havre Grace, it's like a barbell, a disproportion of people in the elderly population and the very young. So this population that we have that likes Havre Grace, doesn't want to leave Havre Grace, this gives an opportunity for them to live independently and age in place with those. So with that being said, I'd take any questions you have. That's our plan. There's a time period that we have to do all of the environmental analysis and demo cost to determine our future. And we'll be doing a lot more in focus groups with the community and studies on this senior living. And that's what I have.
Well, Mr. Turner, I want to thank you very much for being here this evening to present. I know you and I have talked about this very often. You know, that's been the $64,000 question for the last handful of years, is what's going to happen with the hospital property. And as everyone knows, there's been a lot of people approaching the city over the last couple of years that wanted to put some serious high-density apartments in that area. And we knew that just wasn't, well, one, it's not the right fix, but two, can you imagine the intersection at Revolution and Union Avenue at 7 o'clock in the morning when 500 apartment units need to go to work? You know, it's just, there's a place for everything, you know? And when you finally came forward to the city and approached us months ago and said, hey, I want to take a stab at it, that was like welcome news. We really believe that, at least I feel this way, returning that area of Havre Grace back to what it once was. It used to be houses.
And that's what we're trying to do.
Exactly.
And
I mean, before the hospital
the
came.
other important thing is, Bob is a resident here within 5 blocks of it. I'm a resident here. Trademark is house in Havre Grace, so we have sensitivity to the community and the local area.
100%. I mean, talk about skin in the game. You're right. You and Mr. Ward both live a couple blocks down the street. And, you know, Havre Grace got a reputation last couple of years of being hard to deal with when we turned away those developers. But we knew that there was going to be something better come along for our citizens. And like I say, we're very, we like the product. We think that the opportunity to provide more houses for people to live in Havre Grace is always a great thing. We think I like the fact that you're committed to the architectural design of the neighborhood. There's a lot of pluses to it. Love the open space that you're committed to for the citizens. The to commemorate what was once there, Hartford Memorial Hospital. So like I said, I know these are plans, and sometimes plans are subject to change sometimes depending on prevailing winds, but I know you're a good man, and I know Mr. Ward's a good man, and you guys have done,
Keep you abreast of everything as it
Absolutely.
gels together.
like I say, any way the city can assist you in doing this, we'll be happy to work with you. And I know my fellow council members may have a few things to say, but again, thank you very much for being here. I know there's a lot of citizens that probably feel the same way, that this is welcome news, that area of towns are going to move forward in a positive direction. So who would like to speak first? Casey, go ahead.
So I too live just a couple of blocks away from this, and I can tell you, everybody in our neighborhood, just as you heard earlier, everybody's really excited about the potential. A little trepidation, trying to understand exactly what it's going to look like or be like or feel like as we go through the process of you taking down the hospital. I know it goes down at least 2 stories. I don't know if it's more than that. And then what's going to be entailed in that. But I do know that everybody within the community is very interested and willing to go through a little bit of pain in order to get something that's going to make it so that people don't have to leave Havre de Grace in order to age in place. And they're very, very excited about it. My mother is very excited about this as well. So
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Boger.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Council President.
I just want to say thank you so much for coming up with a reasonable plan. We've been fighting a long time, and you know, very contentious at times. You know, some of the plans, like Bill said, that were way beyond what was reasonable for downtown. And my sister lives 3 houses away on Union, and I got to say that Thanksgiving's going to be a little bit less awkward this year. So thank you. But I love the plan. I love the memorialization for the workers and the people that you know, were born in the hospital. I met my wife there 30 years ago. I was a security guard. She was a nurse, and
Is that going to be one of our plaques?
please, if you could, you know, Council President Ringsocker met his wife on this spot, you know. But no, I just want to say thank you so much for coming up with a reasonable plan for the city.
Anyone else? Councilmember Boger.
Yeah, just echoing the same sentiments. You know how I feel about it. I mean, I learned about these plans probably prematurely, but thank you for the heads up on that. I can't tell you the amount of people who have the fondest memories, such as the council president just displayed, plus other people in this community who said, you know, born there, born and raised, so on and so forth. But memorializing that by having a doctor there with the plaques right there at the corner. Currently, it's just an empty field with a couple of trees there, right?
They're the most magnificent trees on the whole property. That way they can be preserved right there where they are.
Yeah, they're beautiful pin oaks, I think is what they are. But I think that's a cherry on the top. Getting Lodge Lane back, you know I'm a big fan of getting the Lodge Lane back. This correlates with the city's approved comprehensive plan, which you know full well, sir, both you and Mr. Ward. So I really hope that plans come to fruition, especially with the tear down and so on and so forth. I know there's a lot of behind the scenes activities going on there with the tear down, which is probably going to be the biggest effort in the whole thing is to tear down and preparation. So, but I wanted to personally thank you as a friend and as a neighbor as well for the presentation tonight. Thank you, sir.
Councilmember Jones.
Thank you so much for the presentation. I know that you don't know definitively, but can you give like a timeline of when you think everything will be done?
Not everything will be done, but I can kind of give you some gauges. So there'll be probably a period of 4 months or so to get all of the demolition and the environmental bidding done where that can start. Then once that starts, it's probably 4 months to do the environmental cleanup. It's probably another 3 months to get the buildings on the ground, and then probably another 2 months to crush all of the masonry up into like stone size pieces of material that can be reused. That being said, it's a possibility that we could start on some of the parking lot areas that do not require demolition while the demolition is taking place. That would be the quickest way to get some activity over there and start making the project show what it's going to be. And then the market is the ultimate dictator of how long it takes. So.
All right, and one more question. When it comes to memorializing some of Havre de Grace's history, is it a case where you might be looking for community input on that, or how will you determine what will go there?
Well, certainly. If you remember, if in the hospital when you walked in the first lobby, they had an extensive kind of history there. We were going to pull from those pictures and that history as a base for what we should put on the plaques. And we're certainly open to anyone who has good history of this to give their input for that.
That sounds good. Great, thank you.
Anyone else? Godspeed to you and Mr. Ward. Thank you.
Thank you all for your
Betcha.
time.
We're going to go to item 11, resolutions. This evening, we have one resolution. I'll hand that off to Council President.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I move to introduce a calendar resolution concerning adopting transportation policies and policy positions.
Second?
Council, I have a motion by the Council President, seconded by Councilmember Shenegis. This is a motion to introduce a calendar resolution. Questions or comments on the introduction of this resolution? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion to approve the calendar resolution on introduction carries 6-0 in the affirmative. This will be known as Calendar Resolution 2025-17, 2025-17. A resolution by the Mayor and City Council of Havre de Grace, Maryland, pursuant to the local government article of the annotated Code of Maryland, sections 33 and 34 of the City Charter, to adopt transportation priorities and policy positions. Council will have a motion to adopt Calendar Resolution 2025-17.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Boyer, seconded by the Council President. Questions or comments? Council President.
So this is us establishing our transportation priorities for the upcoming session, to include US 40 at Otsego Street, Ohio, Maryland 155 northbound off-ramp, US 40 shared use path, and the installation of a signalized intersection at Martha Lewis Boulevard. These are all into a transportation priority letter to the Havre County. Additionally, we want the reduced speed US Route 40 at Oakington Road from 55 to 45. And then the Mayor and Council of Havre de Grace request that the government of Harford County evaluate the current location of the Link bus stop on US Route 40 between Blenheim Lane and Harriet's Way. So we just want to make everything a little bit safer for the citizens. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Councilmember Boyer.
I just want to let everybody know, all of these topics have been brought up at the Street and Traffic Safety meeting and have been talked through in a way. Obviously, the Route 40 intersection, everyone knows, is the crazy intersection. We have had some headway on that, and having that as our #1 priority, I think, is very important. And another thing, just let everybody else know, the Route 40 shared use path has received some funding, and Harford County has put funding to it to get us to the 30% design stage. So that looks like it's moving forward too, but having it on the list for a priority down in Annapolis would be great, because it'll make it so that hopefully we can get it pushed forward to get it to completion. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Boyer. Any other questions or comments? Council, we're going to do a roll call vote on 2025-17. Councilmember Boyer.
Yes.
Councilmember Shenegis.
Yes.
Councilmember Boger.
Yes.
Councilmember Jones.
Yes.
Councilmember Ellis.
Yes.
Council President.
Yes.
By roll call vote of 6-0 in the affirmative, City Council Calendar Resolution 2025-17 is adopted. We will now go to item 12 on this evening's agenda. And we do have a series of ordinances. Hold on 1 second. We have 4 ordinances, 3 are second readings, and 1 is first reading. So we're going to start with item A, which is ordinance 1208. Council President.
Mr. Mayor, Council, citizens all, I move to introduce ordinance number 1208 concerning approving lease agreement with Piedmont Properties LLC, Promenade Grill, for second reading and adoption.
Second?
Council, I have a motion by the council president, seconded by Councilmember Schnagus. This is a motion to introduce ordinance 1208 on second reading. Questions or comments on introduction? All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. Motion to introduce ordinance 1208 on second reading carries 6-0 in the affirmative. 1208 is an ordinance by the Mayor and City Council of Havre de Grace adopted pursuant to the authority of Article 11E of the Maryland Constitution, the local government article of the annotated code of Maryland in sections 33, 34, and 76 of the Havre de Grace City Charter to approve a lease for the Promenade Grill. Council, I have a motion to adopt 1208 on second reading.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by the council president, seconded by Councilmember Schnagus. Questions or comments? Okay, council, we're going to do a roll call vote on 1208. Councilmember Schnagus.
Yes.
Councilmember Boker.
Yes.
Councilmember Jones.
Yes.
Councilmember Ellis.
Yes.
Council President.
Yes.
Councilmember Boyer.
Yes.
By roll call vote of by roll call vote of 6-0 in the affirmative, City Council Ordinance 1208 is adopted on second reading. Thank you very much, council. Item B, Council President.
You got me working tonight. I move to introduce ordinance number 1209 concerning amending Chapter 70 fees for second reading.
Council, I have a motion by the council president to introduce this ordinance. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Boker. This is a motion to introduce 1209 on second reading. Questions or comments on introduction? All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. Motion to introduce 1209 on second reading carries 6-0 in the affirmative. 1209 is an ordinance by the Mayor and City Council of Havre de Grace, Maryland, adopted pursuant to the authority of Article 11E of the Maryland Constitution, the local government article of the annotated code of Maryland, is sections 33 and 34 of the Havre de Grace City Charter to amend Chapter 70 fees, to update the general schedule of fees charged by the city for various permits, licenses, and other services thereunder. Council, I have a motion to adopt 1209 on second reading.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Jones, seconded by the council president. Questions or comments?
So, if I may, Mr. Mayor, I apologize.
Council President.
This is just us updating our fee schedule. It's required by law to do every year, and it includes any building permits, stuff like that, use of the Star Center, use of the community center, and anything that the city would charge fees on. Thank you.
Thank you, Council President. Any other questions or comments? Okay, council, we're going to do a roll call vote on ordinance 1209. Councilmember Boker.
Yes.
Councilmember Jones.
Yes.
Councilmember Ellis.
Yes.
Council President.
Yes.
Councilmember Boyer.
Yes.
Councilmember Schnagus.
Yes.
By roll call vote of by roll call vote of 6-0 in the affirmative, ordinance 1209 is adopted on second reading. Thank you. Item C, ordinance 1210. Council President.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I move to introduce ordinance number 1210 concerning establishing Chapter 150 sidewalk policy for second reading and adoption.
Second.
Council, I have a motion by the council president, seconded by Councilmember Schnagus. This is a motion to introduce ordinance 1210 on second reading. Questions or comments on the introduction? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion to introduce ordinance 1210 carries 6-0 in the affirmative. Ordinance 1210 is an ordinance by the Mayor and City Council of Havre de Grace, Maryland, adopted pursuant to the authority of Article 11E of the Maryland Constitution, the local government article of the annotated code of Maryland, and sections 33 and 34 of the Havre de Grace City Charter to establish a new chapter 150 in the city code to be titled Sidewalk Policy concerning the regulation of public sidewalk use within the 100 and 200 blocks of North Washington Street, providing for enforcement and penalties and for other purposes. Council to have a motion to adopt ordinance 1210 on second reading.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Boker, seconded by Councilmember Boyer. Questions or comments? Council President?
A couple things. I was approached by Kelly Boyce about some possible discrepancies in the way that they like to place their tables outside, and I told her that there might be something, after we pass it, come back and revisit. I think we're going to need to work together on any future amendments, to come back and amend that. But as of right now, the administration is asking for a small friendly amendment under Section 150-4, General Provisions. It's on page 3. Item B, line 94, it says, business hours, all items including signs placed on the sidewalk within Zone 3, et cetera. We want to strike all items including and change the small s to a large s, so it reads, signs placed on the sidewalk within Zone 3. I think that that's very non-substantial and could be a friendly amendment if council doesn't object.
Did you say where it was?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, gotcha. Council, the council president has requested an amendment be considered a friendly amendment. If any council members object and want to vote on it, please say so.
No objections to the motion.
Councilmember Boyer?
So by making that change, it talks to only the signs. So therefore, obviously, the seats and the tables would remain. Well, what if they have like racks? They take the clothing in,
This
not
only
the racks.
pertains to the signs stating the hours, and placed on the sidewalk within Zone 3 may only be present during business operational hours.
Right, it says all items,
so-
including signs. So, I mean, it makes sense that the items such as, if they were to have tables and chairs or benches and stuff like that, that those would remain out, and that the signs would have to come in. But like what the other eaches about that. For example, if they have say a table out there that they just put boxes on top of, is the table allowed to stay out there?
I mean, it's an interesting concept. I don't think that they're going to leave much of their personal stock out there.
No, I don't think that they're going to leave product out there, but like a table, bringing a table in and out, we might see that remaining out there. And if that's okay with everyone, then that's what my question is. Like, or is this something that we have to
Aren't they
wait?
talking about that area where the red brick is, between the curb and the bench, right? So you're not supposed to set up there anyway, any kind of
Right,
stuff. The only
okay.
thing that's supposed to be there are sandwich board signs. and
Or
it's saying they-
tables and chairs and stuff like that?
Right.
Sorry, the mayor is correct that this specific part of the ordinance focuses only on Zone 3, and in Zone 3, only the signs are permitted. Nothing else is permitted in Zone 3.
Okay,
So there wouldn't be anything else in Zone 3 that would need to be removed besides signs, because signs are the only thing permitted in Zone 3.
okay, tracking now, okay. I'm just assuming because I've seen other things there currently. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, this will clarify that. That's just, so everybody understand, we're still on the same,
Just next to the road.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
all right,
No objections.
all right, no objection, changes made.
Perfect.
All right, thank you. Now we're back on to the question, if anybody else wants to add something, say something.
Yeah, just real quick, I mean, there's been a lot of work down there, and we've tried to make space for people to actually walk down the sidewalk, and it's been met with some really positive comments, and one in particular was sent to us today by the Director of Administration, was from the President of the Chamber of Commerce, and Allison, Director, yeah, Allison. She's been walking the beat, pretty much talking to most of the businesses downtown, trying to get their feedback on it, and they seem very, very positive, very upbeat, and actually grants them different leniencies in some of the spaces there, right? So it's been met pretty positively. So I appreciate the council's attention on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Booger. Any other further questions or comments?
No, sir.
I want to clarify real quick, just to the public, this ordinance applies only to the two new 100, 200 block of North Washington Street that had the brand new, street facade done. Because the sidewalks are wider and they're more textured, the first, 5 feet have the brick, and then it goes to sidewalk and things like that. So the purpose of this ordinance is twofold. One is to enable the majority of businesses to have some kind of area on the sidewalk to set something up, something up. a rack of shirts, a little table of something. But really, the most important thing about this ordinance is to guarantee a passable space of at least 6 feet for pedestrians. We've invested heavily in our accommodations for persons with disabilities, to get around easier, and we just want to make sure that the sidewalks aren't clouded up with a bunch of merchandise where we actually have less space for people to walk than more before we did the project. So it actually does two things. So in the old days, people would have to get permission to set up on sidewalks. And this legislation actually enables them by right. Because the legislation says you can set up, you just have to be from the curb 11 feet in is zone 2 and zone 3, and then zone 1 is anything after that. So some businesses may have, depending on how their business sits on the sidewalk, may have 6 feet to set up, may have 3 feet, depends, but everyone will have something. But again, the purpose of this is to come up with some kind of standardized procedure and rule that guarantees pedestrian passage space on Washington Street and also gives merchants the ability to set up and put signboards, little sandwich boards that advertise their business in that little zone where the bricks are and the benches are. So that's it. So with that said, just wanted to clarify that for the public listening in, thinking, why do we have to have a sidewalk policy? Well, we got a big sidewalk now. With big sidewalk comes big ideas, right? Without any further questions or comments, council, let's do a roll call vote. Councilmember Jones?
Yes.
Councilmember Ellis?
Yes.
Council President?
Yes.
Councilmember Boyer?
Yes.
Councilmember Snegus?
Yes.
Councilmember Booker?
Yes.
By roll call vote of 6-0 in the affirmative, City Council Ordinance 1210 is adopted on second reading. Thank you. Item D, Councilmember Ellis.
So I'd like to move to introduce ordinance concerning approving budget amendment 2025-03 for living shoreline maintenance in the first reading.
Second.
Council, I have a motion by Councilmember Ellis, a second by the Council President. This is a motion to introduce a new ordinance on first reading. Questions or comments on the introduction of this ordinance? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion to introduce ordinance carries 6-0 in the affirmative. Council, this be known as Ordinance 1212. An ordinance by the Mayor and City Council of Havre Grace by the authority of Article 11E of the Maryland Constitution, Local Government Article of the Annotated Code of Maryland, and Section 37 of Havre Grace City Charter, for the purpose of amending the city budget for fiscal year 2026 to address additional allocations of funds for the City of Havre Grace for fiscal year 2026. Council, I have a motion to adopt 1212 on first reading.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by the Council President, seconded by Councilmember Booker. Questions or comments? Sir.
This ordinance amends the fiscal year 2026 budget to include $400,000 for the Living Shoreline Project. This funding comes entirely from the Harford County as part of our partnership agreement, and it does not use any city funds. The Department of Public Works plans to use this portion of the $2 million for storm drain improvements, redesigning the soft launch, soil removal, and site maintenance.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Ellis. Any other questions or comments? Councilmember Boyer.
I have two comments. First, I, on behalf of those of us who kayak a lot, really appreciative of reworking the launch to make it so that we can take our boats out without ripping the bottom off. Really appreciate that. But the other question I have, and this might be just something just as a larger issue, maybe something we might even need to come back to. One thing I notice in that parking lot is when we have events or even on the weekends, while there might be some with trailers that use the whole parking space, those with cars don't exactly know how to use the parking space. And I don't know whether, if is it possible that we could add maybe a center dotted line or something to encourage people not to park in the middle of it so that you could potentially have 2 cars to utilize it? And I don't know whether it's possible with this money for that to happen, or if we need to identify additional money to have a little bit of paint in that process.
Yeah, that's an easy fix. All we really have to do is the existing parking for the boat trailers is just split it in half. And then that'll give somewhat of a guide for cars, like you said, when we have special events and whatnot, to
Or
give
even
them
on
an
the
opportunity.
weekends,
Yeah.
it happens too.
And they'll be able to park that way, so.
Tracking. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Boyer. Any other questions or comments? Okay, council, we're going to do a roll call vote on ordinance 1212, first reading. Councilmember Ellis?
Yes.
Council President?
Yes.
Councilmember Boyer?
Yes.
Councilmember Shenanigans?
Yes.
Councilmember Boker?
Yes.
Councilmember Jones?
Yes.
A roll call vote of 6-0 in the affirmative. City Council Ordinance 1212 is adopted on first reading. And Council President, our next council meeting, regularly scheduled council meeting, will be November 17th. Hold a public hearing then?
Perfect.
Okay, if anyone wishes to speak on Ordinance 1212, our public hearing will be at 7 o'clock at the next council meeting. It starts right before the council meeting starts. Okay, thank you. That does it for our ordinances this evening. We're going to go to old business. Item 13, we have no old business this evening. Item 14, new business, and we have a couple events going on. I'll hand it off to Dr. Ritchie.
Thank you, Mayor. Council, for your consideration this evening, we do have 2 events. I am going to request that we not do them on a consent calendar. We do them one at a time because related to an email that I handed you all earlier, and I'll go into detail about that when we get to the second event. But the first event for your consideration is the Veterans Day Parade on November 11th from 11 a.m. to noon on North Washington and St. John Streets, and staging at Hutchins Memorial Park. Thank you.
And that event is rain or shine.
That is my understanding, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, council, to have a motion to approve the Veterans Day Parade.
So moved.
Second.
I'm sorry,
Vicky.
Vicky? Okay. Councilmember Jones gave the motion, seconded by Councilmember Shenanigans. Questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. Veterans Day, next Tuesday. Rain or shine, 11 to 12, Washington Street and St. John Street. Perfect. It's been approved. 6-0 in the affirmative. Dr. Ritchie.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. So the second event that we have for your consideration is the Arts, Wine, Jazz, and Soul Festival fundraiser on August 8th, 2026, from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. at Concord Point Park. And the reason why I'd requested that we consider these events separately is you see the email that I received from Miss Jennifer Sim, the director of the Havre de Grace Maritime Museum. She had placed a phone call with myself last week and expressed some challenges and frankly some frustrations that their staff have been having with the parking for some of the events that take place at Concord Point Park. Specifically, there's some parking in that, in front of the Maritime Museum that is for patrons of the Maritime Museum, and then largely the grass field is public parking that people can park at. They've had challenges where people that are attending events are parking in spaces that are designated for the Maritime Museum, and when they have had staff approach people that have parked in those spaces, they have been greeted with less than friendly responses from those people. So their request, the Maritime Museum is requesting that the council consider a policy or consider making a condition on to different events that are held there, that the event organizer have signs that explicitly show where parking is permitted there for the event, and that they also have someone, a volunteer or an employee, someone as a parking attendant at that lot directing traffic. They've also requested that the event organizers not be permitted to cover signs during an event. I genuinely, I don't think they're permitted. I don't think your approval of events permits anybody to cover public signs that are already existing. So I think that may be more of an enforcement piece, and it's just something that hasn't been reported to us in the past, but we can keep an eye on that going forward. But if you look at the second page of the attachment, or the second page of the email is the attachment to that email that they kind of highlight the parking area that they're talking about, and once again restate their request for a condition be placed on the event organizers for signage and for a parking attendant. So since you have a special event that is going to be at Concord Point Park in front of you this evening, I wanted to make sure that that request was passed on to you.
So would we need an amendment for that, or a council vote? How would we address that?
So the council can make it a condition of approval. So
We want it to be in perpetuity, not just for this event.
so you can make it a condition of approval for this event, and then you could make it, you could probably do it with a resolution, I would imagine, for future events. Looks like April may have a recommendation.
I believe some of the area is covered by a lease with the Maritime Museum or the Decoy Museum, so that would require a legal review of the contents of the lease and before you can actually make it permanent. And even for a temporary fix, I would want to even review the lease to make sure we're in compliance with that. And from my understanding, and I could be wrong, if I'm going back on memory, I'm pretty sure our arrangements with those leases are non-exclusive use and that the city can use those properties. So there's been a history there. I would want to review the leases before there was any change to that policy.
Thank you. Councilmember Boyer?
I have an additional question that adds on to it. Can the event use that, if they have a person manning that space, can they use it in order to do it as a fundraiser? Like $5 to park in this area, if they have a group of people who are not only directing people to park, where to park, but like, because it's a hot mess every time.
I'm not aware of anything prohibiting that. It is city property, so I think I think other people have done that in the past, but I'm just not sure. I'm not aware of anything prohibiting that.
I want to say that the Decoy Museum did something similar, but they used that property also for their event. So that's the only thing I'm aware of. But it is, what was the last one that we just had? It was
Oktoberfest?
It was horrible parking. Everybody was parking, inefficient parking. It was parked so you couldn't get out. And I had a lot of concerns in regards to our stormwater management areas as well. Like, what if somebody drives over or parks on it? Destroying pieces of that. I have a lot of concerns about that as well. Not to mention missing the space to get out effectively and like chipping off a piece of the retainment system there. So I would want to know if that's possible, or to even something that we can encourage people to do, or should we encourage people to do that?
Thank you. Council President, real quick.
All right, I'm going to make a motion then that we table this event application until we receive sufficient legal review.
Well, I'm also wondering, to me, one does not have to exist with the other. Like, we can approve, why can't we approve the event tonight? Because the parking is a totally separate issue that applies to all of our events. So it's not specific to this event. So I don't see why we can't approve this event tonight and then do something with the parking, which is gonna, go across all, so.
Mostly because it's a conditional use and we can't go back and say, hey, we changed your application.
Well, does the application, it says that they want to use that parking lot?
I think we're looking at all events there, because, I personally park there for any event.
Right.
Asking specifically for use of that property in their application.
So this specific event is not, and frankly, most events do not, because that is public parking, yeah.
No, it's not even relevant right now. I mean, we can approve the event, and then we need to do something about this parking so that we are respectful of the lot.
And that's a good point too, because you can draw a line from Pink Lane across, and that's usually where the understood boundary was for the Maritime Museum, right? Although I would think that I would request some type of a study, right, or a survey to see what's what, because there has been a lot of handshake deals within that piece of property there between the Maritime Museum, the Decoy Museum, and of course the city, and then of course what was mentioned earlier about the stormwater management, because it is, if you don't watch what you're doing, you could fall in there, right? So at this point, we don't know what's what. Now, when I served on the board of the Maritime Museum and there was an event going on, we actually had, the Maritime Museum actually had signs that they themselves would carry out there and say, no parking beyond this point, this Maritime Museum. And they had their own like little reserved parking signs. So it would be incumbent upon, possibly the museum versus the event person. It doesn't happen very often, because when we do have events there, we usually do post someone there, especially when we have a city-run event, Defenders Day, things of that nature. The Water Fest, we always, there is someone there volunteering that actually directs traffic. So I think, I do agree with Council President as far as like maybe tabling this one, because I don't think it's, what's the date on that, like August or
August
something?
8th.
We got some time to play with this. That's just my recommendation.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to the council president's motion before it got stepped on. And, he made a motion to table this, and, but I don't have a second. Is there a second to table it?
Second.
Okay, all right, so, council president
Question to the
made a motion to table. And seconded by Councilmember Boker. Table motions don't have discussion, although I think that already took place. So this is just for a straight up table motion now.
I just want to make sure that,
We're tabling the whole thing.
I understand, but do the event people need to know now because they have to get entertainment approved, like on signed contracts? Are we inhibiting something for them?
I do not know the answer to that question.
Okay.
Let's just take the vote on the table motion. And if the table motion fails, then we're back to voting on that event. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I don't know how to vote.
Okay, no, I'll take care of it. All right. This is a table motion. Table motion, there's no discussion, although it seems like there was all kind of discussion on it. So, all those in favor say aye. Well, wait a minute, let me do the roll call vote. Councilmember Boyer. Yea or nay?
Yay, yeah, let's pass.
Councilmember Schnegas.
Yay, yes.
Council President.
Yes.
Councilmember Ellis.
Yes.
Councilmember Jones.
No.
Councilmember Boker.
Yes.
By a vote of 5-1 in favor of the table motion, item 2 under item A2, the Arts, Wine, Jazz, and Soul Festival fundraiser for August 8, 2020 has been tabled. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, if I can just clarify, I really hope this gets reintroduced at the next meeting. We just want to make sure we have the legal sufficient review before we enact any other requirements. So, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. We will go ahead and move on to director's reports and updates from Dr. Chris Ritchie, Director of Administration. You're looking good tonight, by the way. I like to hear.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Mayor. Council, colleagues, citizens. So I do want to start by offering some thanks to everyone that was involved with the Washington Street grand opening and fall festival on the 25th, especially the Department of Economic Development and Tourism, Public Works, and the Police Department. It was a perfect day. It was well executed and well attended, so thank you to everybody that had something to do with that. At the Star Center, the Zeppelin Reimagined is performing on November 8th at 8 p.m. Tickets are also on sale for the Great Havre de Grace Oyster Feast, which is on the 22nd. And importantly, a portion of your ticket goes to a participating Havre de Grace nonprofit of your choice. And I'll read the list of participating Havre de Grace nonprofits. They are the annual Thanksgiving dinner, the Boys and Girls Clubs of Hartford and Cecil County, Celebrate the Fourth Foundation, Concord Point Lighthouse, Havre de Grace Recreation Committee, Havre de Grace Decoy Museum, Havre de Grace Arts Commission, Havre de Grace Green Team, Havre de Grace Youth Commission, HDG Youth Sailing Program, Joseph L. Davis American Legion Post Number 47, Lockhouse Museum, Seroptimists of Havre de Grace, and the Tidewater Players. So when you check out online, there will be a drop-down list, and you can just select which nonprofit you would like the proceeds to go to. 98 Degrees is performing at the Star Center on December 4th. Orchestra seating is largely sold out. I think when I looked this evening, there was only 3 individual seats left in the orchestra, but Tier 1 and Tier 2 tickets are still available. And please remember that going through the Star Center website is the only way to ensure that you're receiving authentic tickets to the events. We do not sell tickets on other reseller sites, and I've been saying that a lot lately because we have seen an increase in fraudulent tickets, and unfortunately, we did have someone who had to be turned away from Evil Dead the Musical because they did purchase a fake ticket on a ticket reselling website. The Havre de Grace Opera House Broadway series presents The Mystery of Edwin Drood. It had a great opening weekend, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of this week are the final performances. And you can purchase tickets to those performances and learn more about all of the Opera House performances at hdgoperahouse.org. I do want to thank the City Council for passing ordinances 1208, 1209, 1210, and then a budget and introducing Budget Amendment 2025-03. And lastly, I do want to genuinely thank Mr. Clark Turner for his presentation and Mr. Ward for his support in the project for Hartford Memorial Hospital property. What an incredible investment that they're making into the city of Havre de Grace. And I also share a similar story to our council president. I met my future Mrs. Claus, my fiance, at the hospital. Both of us worked there for about a decade. So it has a special place in our hearts as well, and I know there's many, many other citizens of Havre de Grace that have very similar stories as that. So I commend them for wanting to memorialize the history of that facility as well. And that concludes my comments for the evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the update, Dr. Ritchie. And we're going to go to our Director of Planning, Mr. Jeff Goins. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. So we had 42 permits that were applied for in October. 7 of those were new construction, 3 single-family detached homes in Bully Rock, 3 in Scion Hill, and then 1 single-family detached home downtown. There were 11 renovations and additions, and then 24 permits that are in the other category. So we have our Board of Appeals hearing this Thursday night at 6:30 here in council chambers. We have 3 items on the agenda. 3 conditional uses. 1 is a hotel, 1 is a gas station. Those are on the same property at the corner of Bully Rock Parkway and Lovell Road. And then 1 conditional use for a booster station at the Legacies development. That's a public facilities structure. And then for our Planning Commission hearing on November 20th, we have 1 item. It's a 3-lot subdivision at 913 South Washington Boulevard. That concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Mr. Goins. Anybody have any questions for Director of Planning? Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Good evening, Ms. Johnson, our Director of Economic Development and Tourism.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, citizens at home and in the audience. We have 1 change this month for the Tourism Advisory Board. They normally meet on the 3rd Wednesday of each month. This month, November, they will meet on the 2nd Wednesday, September 12th at 10 a.m. here in council chambers. And the reason we made that change is because our wonderful tourism manager will be at a conference on the Eastern Shore the 17th through the 20th. So once again, TAB is going to be Wednesday, September 12th at 10 a.m. EDAB will meet on its regularly scheduled day, which is Wednesday, September 19th at 4 o'clock p.m. here in council chambers. We're also going to have a follow-up on the presentation from the hospital that you saw this evening. Our mayor, Bill Martin, will be speaking at the Route 40 Business Association luncheon. It is also Wednesday, September 12th, starting at 11 a.m. It is at the Vandiver Inn on Union Avenue. For anyone interested in attending the luncheon, you can purchase a ticket at Route 40, that is Route40business.com. And last but not least, I would like to acknowledge again Lori Orzowitz and the volunteers that work at the Visitor Center for the work that they did on the Fall Festival. I know the mayor will speak more about that, but along with the planning, there's some physical work that goes into setting up the games and helping other visitor vendors set up for the event, and Lori was on hand all day. So I wanted to acknowledge her, as well as our police department. They were out there at 6 a.m. They were out there before anyone to close the roads down and made sure that everything was set up in place. So shout out to Chief and his crew, and to Lori and the volunteers at the Visitor Center. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson.
I just have
Councilmember Jones.
And just for the record, Ms. Johnson, all the dates that you said September, you meant November, right? For all
Yes, was
okay,
I still
just
in
wanna,
September?
Yeah, I just wanted to, for the record, make sure that we were
For the record.
not going in the
Thank you.
past,
Not
we're
going
moving
backwards.
forward.
It's the 1 hour time difference. I don't know where I'm at right now. But it's Wednesday, November 12th. There is a lot going on the 12th, and then November 19th for EDAB. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other questions for Ms. Johnson? Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Good evening, Mr. Abdi, our Director of Finance. Welcome.
Good evening,
Welcome,
Mayor.
sir.
Thank you so much. Council members, good evening, as well as citizens, Havre Grace. Before I get started on the financial highlights for fiscal 26, I'd like to thank the council in terms of introducing Budget Amendment 26-3. And also just in terms of our, I guess, future council sessions, we finally completed our financial statement for 25, officially closed the books last Friday. So financial department's pretty happy about that. We are scheduled to have the external auditors come in on the 17th in terms of giving the external comments of the financial statements. The auditor is partner, Nate Schwartz. He's been a long time partner of the external audit firm. Onto the FY26 financial obligations or highlights for 26, starting with the general fund. Fund balance currently stands at $9,163,800, which is down $1,255,300. Beginning balance has changed slightly because we've officially closed the books for FY26 beginning balance. It is up of all $6,400. The beginning balance currently stands at $2,782,200. Revenues to date are up since my last reporting, $48,200, with revenues to date standing at $14,620,500. In terms of the expenditure side, it is up $1,309,900. Total expenditures to date stand at $8,238,900. Onto the water and sewer fund, our enterprise fund. The fund balance currently stands at, to date, since my last reporting, it is down $303,100. The fund balance currently stands at $5,664,600. Beginning balance has not changed since the financial close for the fiscal year. It currently stands at $4,700,003,500. Revenues to date, since my last reporting, are up $88,500, with revenues to date $4,255,400. Expenses are up $421,600 since my last reporting. Expenditures to date stand at $3,289,300. Finally, concluding the financial condition is the Marina Fund, Fund 8. Since my last reporting, it is down 27,000. Current fund balance stands at 877,200. Since the financial close last week, the beginning balance has not changed and currently stands at 946,700. Revenues are up since my last reporting, 13,400, with revenues to date 200,800. On the expense side, it is up 40,400, with total expenses to date standing at 270,300. So that concludes my financial highlights for this fiscal year. Back to you, Mayor. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. Is there any questions for our Director of Finance? Thank you very much for the report. We appreciate it. Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Conaway, our Director of DPW.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council, colleagues, and citizens. Just a quick reminder that our semi-annual hydrant flushing program is still in progress. That's expected to last until about the second week of December. Again, if you have any dirty water, just run your cold water faucet for a bit till it clears up. I'd like to give a big thank you to Naomi Wright, who's sitting in the back over there, for her patience and diligence to getting our annual MS4 report on my desk for signature ahead of the deadline, which we submitted to MDE last week. And once again, we've created enough credits to not have to pay any in lieu of fees to the state of Maryland, so it's a good thing. And last but not least, it's leaf season is upon us, so please put your leaves in an empty trash container or paper yard waste bags and sit it out for Monday yard waste pickup. Please do not blow them into the street, as our street sweeper is not designed to pick those up.
You mean they don't just magically disappear if you do that?
If the wind blows hard enough, yes. And that concludes my report.
Any logical questions for Mr. Conaway? Okay, thank you very much, sir. Good evening, Chief Crass.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, citizens. So on Saturday, October 25th, we had a great day downtown, and we were also visited by some First Amendment auditors that were at our post office. And so I wanted to cover a couple things because we received numerous calls from our citizens in regards to these young men that were out in front of the post office. So for those of you, well, I'll start with this. So the First Amendment of the Constitution, there is a bunch of case law in regards to the First Amendment, and it does include the ability for these individuals to create video recordings of public employees and private citizens on public property. So that's what they typically go towards, is public property like post office, city hall, the PDs, libraries, things like that. So First Amendment auditors are individuals that make videos of their encounters with the public. Employees and officials is what they usually try to target because they're auditing us to make sure that we do not infringe upon their First Amendment rights. However, citizens come in contact with them as well. So these auditors will typically enter a public property, camera in hand. They start filming, asking a bunch of questions. These young men, they had masks on, they had sunglasses on, and they're trying to, get a rise out of people. So in most instances, the auditor is, again, essentially testing to see whether the employees, the government employees, will respect his or her First Amendment rights to enter and film in public spaces. So just to, they're trying to get a rise out of people. So the advice that the PD is given is stay calm, be polite to them. And I tell people, don't even act like they're there. So if you want to get on YouTube, get into a confrontation with them, and then you'll be on YouTube. And so if you just walk in there and, Joe, I wasn't trying to drag you into this, but anyway. So you know, they posted the videos from our post office, and you know, there's not a single person on a video that just merely walks into the post office, you know, takes care of their postal business and walks out without acknowledging them. Every single person has something to say, and that's what they want. They put our officers on camera. And again, I'm just giving people advice. This is not the first time this has happened in our community, and it won't be the last. So that was my whole goal, is just to say, you know, they do have a right to be there. They're trying to get a rise out of people, so don't pay them any attention, and then you won't be on YouTube. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief Crass. Any questions for our chief? All right, thanks for the pro tip there. Appreciate it. Oh, question. I'm
I
sorry.
do have one
Councilman
question.
Shenanigans,
I'm
my
sorry.
apologies.
I thought about it and I thought, well, maybe I shouldn't ask, but are they allowed to go on school properties?
Well, that would be considered somewhat private property, because they go to typically places where it would be, I guess, uncommon for people to be banned. So they're not going to private businesses and private property, because if you own your business and they come into your business, you can tell them to get out, and if they don't, then they're trespassing. So it's difficult to do that in a public building unless they're really causing some problems. So that's typically why they go to the public areas, and that's why they're filming there. So they're afforded more protections in those areas. So, but I think the public schools are considered to be that the administrators can say, you know, especially during school times, they're not allowed on the property. So,
Great, thank you.
Thank you again, Chief. Appreciate it. We're going to move to item 17, comments from the mayor. Welcome to November, everyone. And we survived October, which was a very busy month for the city of Havre Grace. Every weekend there was something going on. Either it was Thursday night concerts out at the Lighthouse, or the Pride Festival, Oktoberfest, art show, and then we had the really nice street dedication on October 25th, two Saturdays ago, which I want to bring up. And first of all, I want to thank all the city employees and volunteers that made it happen. Ms. Johnson, your department, with Ms. Orzowitz, our tourism manager, and all the volunteers she has underneath her. Mr. Conway, your Department of Public Works. Chief, your officers did a great job, and Dr. Ritchie, everybody else in your department did a good job as well. It's a big undertaking. Don't want to rehash the whole story again, but you know, we're just really glad that the downtown project is done. Although the last thing, we need speakers though. We're still waiting on those speakers. So I mean, we're 98% done. I mean, we have the brackets, just got to mount the speakers. So they'll be in time for Christmas music for people to shop in the streets. But it was really nice to see such a wonderful crowd. Folks come to the dedication. So we wanted to have a commemorative item to hand out to people, and we decided to make 250 commemorative little bags that actually had a picture of the Downtown Restoration Project on it. And so we were thinking, well, how are we going to hand out these bags? There's like 1,000 people here. And so, all right, well, I'll tell you what, how about I hand them out? You have to come shake my hand and get a bag. So I don't know if I should have volunteered for that or not, but it was a long time. But I shook a lot of hands, and it was great. So everyone that came up to my table, I shook their hand. I said, welcome, and thank you for being here. And where are you from? And even though we sent out postcards to 4,000 people of our city, inviting them to their street dedication, I would say 90% of the people who came to get a bag were not from Havre Grace. They were from Cherry Hill, New Jersey. They were from Philadelphia, Wilmington, Glasgow, Delaware, Lancaster, Alexandria, Virginia. One guy from Washington, D.C. says, I just wanted to go to a fall festival. I haven't been to one all year. I live in D.C. I just wanted to go to one. A lot of people are saying we do a really good job with our marketing. They saw it elsewhere. And so I was shocked, happy at the same time that so many people came to celebrate our downtown street dedication along with us. So, I mean, it's good news, and people couldn't be more complimentary, not just about what the downtown streetscape looked like, but people visiting the town saying how nice everyone is in the town and how welcoming everyone is. And so, you know, you can't get a greater compliment when strangers visit your town and they say, we can't wait to come back. We live an hour and a half away, but we can't wait to come back. So that made me happy, I think, more than anything else on Saturday. And, you know, again, it was a nice day. The weather was on our side. And it worked out really good because we also wanted to see if we could create a fall festival. There'll be one again next year. We always kind of wanted to do one, and that was our first official street closure for those 2 blocks. And it worked out good having the band right in the middle at Pennington Avenue, and you could hear it up both sides of the street. So it worked out really nice, and the feedback I got back from the vendors said that they did really well. So it was a good day. But you know, with the month of October being so busy, so were the trolleys. The trolleys had almost 2,300 riders. Now remember, the trolleys are only rolling on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They had 2,300 riders, a total of almost over 1,700 miles, and 0 incidents. And I just want to thank again, as the season's wrapping up, I know our trolleys will be running until when? Early?
We try to run them through the holiday shopping season, but they
Right.
are heavily weather dependent. So as long as it's mild, they can be out there. If it gets really cold, we'll have to pull them. The battery life just won't be there.
Yeah, right. Good. So same as last year. We're going to try to keep them running through the holidays. They run on the weekends, but again, weather dependent. But we have great trolley. We call them ambassadors. And I know many people watching this have probably ridden the trolleys, but we don't call them trolley drivers. We call them ambassadors because one of the requirements to be a trolley ambassadors, you have to love Havre de Grace. You have to love to talk to people. Say, hey, where are you from? You know, we love knowing that stuff, you know, and I've said it before, half the trolley riders are our own citizens, which I think is just wonderful. Be a tourist in your own town, right? You know, grab a ice cream and just take a ride around town. So, again, good news, good stuff going on. Don't forget the great Havre de Grace Oyster Feast is always the Saturday before Thanksgiving. It is at the Star Center. It's an event. It's $75 a ticket still.
It's 75 plus fees. Yeah.
Oh yeah, plus fees.
Yeah, plus
okay.
ticketing fees.
Well, you can buy them at the Visitor Center, can't you, for cash?
You can. So you can avoid paying the Eventbrite fees if you do purchase them through the Visitor Center, yes.
Okay, so if you want to pay, well, if you want to avoid the fees on Eventbrite, go to the Visitor Center and pick up your Oyster Feast tickets, or you can buy them online. But remember, the Oyster Feast, every ticket you buy, $15 goes to a participating nonprofit of your choice. So you'll get like a drop-down bar, and you can say, you know, well, I'm buying 2 tickets, which means I got $30 going to a local nonprofit. So I choose Parks and Rec, or I choose the Lock House or something like that, or Independent State Commission. So that's the reason why we have the great Havre de Grace Oyster Feast. It's a time where everybody get together in community, celebrate the fall, celebrate you know, our local nonprofits. There's a lot of participating nonprofits that are all selling tickets. So anyway, we hope you can make it. If you like oysters, it's great. If you don't like oysters, there's a lot of other food. Pit ham, pit beef, pit turkey, crab soup, shrimp, whatever you want. We got lots of stuff. And it's a good time. I know a lot of people, it usually sells out. We usually stop selling tickets when it hits 500 people because we like to keep it a nice, manageable crowd. But we hope everyone can make it. And if it's your first time, I think you'll like it. And finally, you know, we're in the midst of the semi-sesquicentennial, right? I practice that every day. The semi-sesquicentennial, which is with my students, which is 250 years ago this happened, or 250 years that happened. So it's like everything is 250 years ago because we are celebrating the 250th anniversary of a lot of things that happened in our nation's history. You know, back in April 19th, we celebrated what?
It was Lexington and Concord.
I knew you knew the answer
I was
because you texted me.
Put me on the spot.
Anyway.
Every morning on April 19th, we go out, my son and my daughter, we go to the water and we watch the sunrise, and we listen to The Midnight Ride of Paul Revere by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow.
That's why I knew you would know that, right? Anyway, anyway, the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Marine Corps is November 10th, and I wish you a happy birthday to Marines because October 13th was the 250th anniversary of the Navy. So every day, if you think about the word semi-sesquicentennial, which means 250 years, something happened in 1775 that was important. So anyway, I'm telling you this right now, we're going to really do it up for next year's 4th of July. I happen to know personally the parade organizer, and I know that she really wants to do something special. And we're going to coordinate with tourism, economic development, everything. So it's going to, we don't know what yet, but it's going to be the semi-sesquicentennial of 1776. And it's going to be special. It's going to be a really, really special turnout for our nation's 250th anniversary. And with that said, I'm just going to stop using big words, and we're going to see if we can adjourn.
No, why don't we go back to council comments?
What's that? You ready to adjourn, or you want to go back to council comment?
I wanted to say a few things.
Oh, you didn't, oh, we skipped council president, didn't we?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think we skipped everybody. You went right from 15 to 17.
Oh, look at that. Why didn't anybody say anything to me? I'm sitting here talking.
We thought it was important.
No, it was just an old habit I have. I used to go right after council. All right, never mind. Okay. Councilmember Ellis, what's going on, man?
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Directors.
Daylight savings time, sorry.
Citizens. I only got one important thing and then a comment, but regarding the skate park, the grants, it looks like we did not get approved for that. So we're trying to figure out some other grants and some other ways to make that happen. I just wanted to let everybody know, because I said I would update people when we found out. Secondly, I don't know if you know this, a lot of people came up to me after the milkshake contest and asked me if I let you win. And I just wanted to set the record straight, I did not. I was beat fair and square, and I'm still upset about it. But I just wanted to set the record straight. I thought that I would be a sore loser if I didn't, so.
I thought you did let me win.
Nah.
All right, okay, well, thanks for treating me good. I appreciate that. Anything else, sir?
That's it.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Jones.
Thank you, Mayor, council, directors, citizens in the audience and at home. I actually had my bet on Casey because she was really close to you, Matt, so I think she was second place.
Not a chance.
Not a chance. But congratulations, Mayor, on that win. I thought it was a great event, and if you didn't go this year, make sure that you go next year. Bridget, your team did a phenomenal job, as always. I don't know, I mean, that was such a huge event. I can't imagine all the time and the hours that went into that. But wanted to thank you, thank DPW. Chief, I saw you in the corner with your shades on, doing some serious business, making sure no funny business going on. So I want to thank you and your team for all of that. And then Patrick Seipold, who was emotional that day because he could see the work that he'd done. So just great job on that team. And also, I know Randy Taylor had a hand in that as well, and so just thank him too. I wanted to share for those folks who are in our community and may be in need. We do have some folks that may need free groceries or meals, so I thought it would be a good idea to just share where you can go get that in Havre de Grace if you are not aware. There are a few places, St. Patrick's Church, St. John's Episcopal Church, Tabernacle of Faith Family Life Center, Havre de Grace Compassion Center, Havre de Grace Housing Authority, Salvation Army, and First Christian Church. And lastly, this past weekend was pretty busy. Today's Monday, yes. There were 2 countywide events, but there were a lot of people from Havre de Grace in the room. So I just want to acknowledge that we have things going on in Havre de Grace all the time, but we go out in numbers to support others in the community. So there was the there was the Harford County Public Library Foundation, had their event this past weekend. Lots of Havre de Grace folks in the house. And yesterday, the Willow House in Aberdeen, they raised money for homeless women. And they had their tea party yesterday, tea party fashion show. So that was great to see. A lot of the models were from Havre de Grace, and a lot of the participants were from Havre de Grace. So check that out if you are interested in supporting some folks from our community, and maybe you can go next year. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Jones, and Councilmember Boyer, good evening.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to say dittos to everybody else on the comments for the Fall Fest. The one thing I just want to point out, we don't really have that many events where we just have friendly competitions like that. And I really liked it. I remember I used to live in Bel Air, and while I did not like having to try to find a frog, the frog jumping contest was kind of a cool thing. But maybe if we can incorporate that more into, we don't need to incorporate it into 4th of July or anything else, but if we do the Fall Festival again, that was a lot of fun. I know a lot of people, my neighbor, who I talked into doing the pie contest for me, just thought eating a pie in front of people was the coolest thing in the world. So he really appreciated that. I want to thank everybody on council for participating in the Havre de Grace Trunk or Treat. That was a great event. Lots of people there. And it's good, just good to see everybody come out to have fun together. I also participated in the 31st on the walking school bus. It went from the lighthouse all the way to the elementary school. Every Friday during the month of October, the elementary school had people around town, teachers around town, and they all walked from strategic locations with students to the elementary school as part of Walktoberfest. And on the 31st was their, big finale day. So everybody met down at the lighthouse and walked to the elementary school. It was amazing to see all the kids excited about walking together, and how people within our community were very gracious and very full of grace and stopped to let the very slow but very long line go through, and I really appreciate that for everybody. I also want to thank everybody for coming out for the costume contest, which was a really great event, and Johnny, thank you for being the MC with the mostest. He did a really great job, and again, a lot of absolutely incredibly creative families and kids within our community, and just to see everybody running around, that was a lot of fun. I want to remind everybody that on Thanksgiving Day, which this year is the 27th of November, the Havre de Grace Community Project's Thanksgiving Dinner Committee will be having our Thanksgiving dinner again. We have already, it only took us 2 weeks this year to get all 1,250 spaces full. We have a waiting list. We are going to try to meet the need as much as we can with the waiting list. We're not going to be able to take care of all of the requests, but we're going to try to work with others within our community. And that brings me just to another issue, and thank you very much, Councilwoman Jones, for bringing up places within our community. Of all the times where our community as a whole needs to come together, this is one of them. This is one of the great things about Havre de Grace, how we come together. It's not about what side you're on or anything. It's that we are a community full of grace, and we take care of each other. It doesn't matter what political spectrum or what your background is or anything, but when you're in need, we come together and we make sure we take care of people. So I ask you, please, go next door, look around your community, see if there are people within the community that just need somebody to talk to them. If they need just something extra, how to get them to the resources that they need. I know there's a lot of young people who work on APG who have not been paid for over a month. It feels like a year. And they're just trying to figure out how they're going to get through. And they just might need just a little bit of advice and talking to, and not to be afraid of it. If we all come together, if we all lean into this and we become a community of grace, we can get through this. So I ask you just to go that extra step and look out for people. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much for your comments, Councilmember Boyer. Good evening, Councilmember Shenegis.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council, Administration, citizens here tonight. It's lovely to see your faces, and those of you at home. Speaking of faces, it was absolutely lovely seeing all those decorated faces around town on our Halloween trick-or-treat night with the businesses. Thank you, owners that were out there with big smiles on your face, inviting people in and for photos and to visit your shops and to give out candy as they came by, all dressed up and proud with their families. It's a memorable time, and it's one of our traditions that we've had since I've lived in Havre de Grace, and I know it goes back ages. So I hope that we continue to, cheer on our businesses and the families on that special night, the one night before Halloween. It doesn't replace trick-or-treating, but I know that it brings our community together, and it's lovely. So I was happy to see that happen. Well, with things changing, with businesses changing, we have the state opened up for movies to be seen by our citizens and people that come to town. They will be opened from Thursday through Sundays, showing both old films as well as modern films. $8 a ticket. Candy, popcorn, sodas, reasonable, very reasonable priced. So it's a great opportunity to go in, meet the new owners, and see what is out there for our new state to welcome the community in to see movies, but also they will have events that could take place there. So it is a venue for special events as well. And lastly, I know our seasons are changing so fast. Let's not forget about the gratitude of Thanksgiving. I thank you for mentioning our event. That was one of my first things I got involved with in Havre de Grace, is the Thanksgiving dinner, and just cooking a meal, or actually not cooking a meal, but helping, cut pies and be a part of giving meals out to people. It was enjoyable, and it was one of the first things my daughter and I did as a family to get involved in the community. So I love that we are still carrying on that tradition, and that there's families out there that, bring their families as a tradition to help others. Please, as we transition from Thanksgiving into the holiday season, remember that we have our First Fridays, of course, but it starts out with the Holly Jolly Tree Jubilee, and that's one of those things that we can all get involved in, either as a participant that attends and sees the beautiful trees, or you can make one yourself. You can decorate a tree and donate it from your family or from your business or your nonprofit, however you like, to help support the Celebrate the Fourth Foundation. If you're interested in decorating a tree or wreath, you can go online to Facebook. There is an application link to joining in. I look forward to seeing all of the creative ideas that come out. This year it will be at the State Theater. Star Center. Please forgive me. It's going to be at the Star Center, and this is the second year. It's grown exponentially, so there's a lot of creative people out there that take the trees and come out and welcome part of our holiday opening. So you will want to go, if you're a participant, you will want to go on December 6th to see the trees. And if you just want to come by one or just look at them and be a part of the festivities, come on out, 12 to 8 p.m. December 6th. And I look forward to all the other festivities as we go forward. And I just thank you for all being here tonight. Back to you, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Shenagus, and good evening, Councilmember Booger.
Good evening, Mayor. Citizens with us tonight. A lot of folks out here with us tonight. I'd like to see a lot of business people in the audience, so thanks for coming out. We definitely support you as much as we possibly can, so thanks for being here. Directors, council. So I do have a proclamation in your inbox, ma'am, in regard to the Arts Commission. If you want to give it a first look. If not, I'll just refresh your inbox tomorrow. With regards to the Arts Commission, I wanted to make a few members emeritus. It should be in your inbox. And if not, I'd go and refresh that. So I appreciate that. Under business, appreciate it. That was great, handing out the bags, especially when we did the downtown revitalization ceremony. Quite frankly, because it's October the 25th, which happens to be Adam Rubinski's birthday, who he had to leave suddenly, but it fell on his birthday. So I thought that was pretty good. The Recreation Committee hosted the Halloween contest. Part of that, of course, was Ms. Lori Orwitz and Bridget Johnson has a huge hand in that. They did a fantastic job. Some of the folks that you see on the agenda, Jim Nemeth and John Narvell, they actually play a hand in that as well. So a lot of citizens actually do. They wear 2 or 3 hats. So I'm on the Recreation Committee, plus I work at the Visitor Center, plus I provide some support here and there. So I appreciate that. Congratulations to the mayor. He is the milkshake champion. I'm a little taken aback that you didn't have the medal tonight. It's actually, I think he took silver in that. He crushed it. I thought the little guy on the end was sitting next to Councilmember Boyer was actually going to crush it. The young man. Okay, I thought he was going to crush it. He was the competition, I thought. He had the stirring going and everything. Yeah. So no, that was fantastic. So that. And I want to give a big shout out to, as I always do, with our Department of Public Works, especially, and I'm going to say their names, Chris Dalton, Corinne Dunn, Alan Keith, and Alyssa Smith. These people represent your department so well. Director Conaway, they represent you and your professionalism on a daily basis, wherever I see them, and whether that's hydrant flushing or whether it's airlocks in someone's house when they restore a meter and so forth, they're all over it. So they're on top of it. The pressure meetings, they go above and beyond. So please pass on the thank you for that. And in closing, I want to thank the host company, the police department, as always, the EMS, first responders, those of us who keep us safe at night. When you hear that fire alarm go off, you know that there's men and women out there who put in on the boots and get ready to go out there and keep us safe. So thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Booker, and good evening, Council President.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I apologize. When I started this evening, I accidentally grabbed 2 agendas, and apparently I've been writing on both, so I missed something earlier. Pertaining to Mr. Clark Turner's presentation, I'd like to suggest we hold a work session, and I'll go ahead and have the invite sent out later this week to coordinate dates. We can maybe meet for an hour here in the well and discuss future plans, and we can discuss the statue you mentioned and have citizens come out and see what they want to hear. So who wants to hear about some football? So on, let's see here, last week we beat North Hartford 56-14. They came out and hit us with 14 points, so I think our boys just came out soft and don't know what happened. And then we hit them back with 56 unanswered points, which was great. And then this past weekend on Halloween, we beat Joppatown 17-2. And that puts us at a 7-2 record, which is number 1 in our region, number 2 in the state in our division. And we have a first-round bye next week for the playoffs. And then, since we're number 1, we will play whoever wins out of Patterson Mill or Lake Clifton. And that will be at home on the 14th right here. So that'll be a home playoff game for Havre, which we haven't had in a long time. That'd be pretty awesome. I'd like to congratulate my daughter Sydney for being awarded her first-class scout with 967G last night. Pretty cool. She's working her way towards making Eagle like her brother did last weekend. So her Matt Ring Soccer made Eagle Scout last weekend. I'm super proud. So with that, Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to adjourn.
All right, thank you. We'll go to comments from the mayor. No, I'm kidding. I'm sorry. I feel bad about that. I'm so tired. I didn't get much sleep last night. I was used to speaking after Chief Crass and completely forgot about it. But anyway. Yeah, I know. You guys are just being nice to the old man. I get it. Okay. Adjournment. Yeah. Okay. That's how we end this thing now. You have a motion to adjourn. Motion by the council president, second by. Second?
Yes, sir.
Second by Councilmember Booker. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion to adjourn carries 6-0 in the affirmative. Time is 8:55. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you back here on November 17th. Thank you.